Japan is surrounded by ocean. In Japan, ocean transport accounts for most trade and nearly half of domestic cargo transport. The maritime industry is an important social infrastructure that supports fisheries and tourism transport, as well as citizens' lifestyles and the economy. At times, subject to severe weather conditions, healthcare for seamen working under hazardous circumstances and facing unexpected situations requires appropriate responses that take into account environments different from those on land. Radio Medical Consultation supports the health and peace of mind of those crew members. Through Radio Medical Consultation, when a sudden illness or injury occurs at sea, doctors quickly provide emergency instructions and other medical advice in response to requests for advice from the ship's healthcare staff. Based on the ILO International Convention Maritime Labor Convention 2006, medical advice is provided 24 hours a day, 365 days a year via email, phone, or fax, free of charge to all ships at sea. The Japan Health Insurance Association Seamen's Insurance Department completed radio medical consultation outsourcing contracts with JCO Tokyo Takanawa Hospital and JCO Yokohama Hodogaya Central Hospital. In addition to these two hospitals, 8 Japan Seafarers Relief Association hospitals nationwide also provide medical advice via phone or fax. Following is the main procedure for requesting advice. When someone on the ship becomes ill or injured, a health supervisor confirms the status of the illness or injury and requests medical advice from a doctor via email, phone, or fax. At this time, it is important to communicate the patient's symptoms completely, accurately, and in as much detail as possible, based on the 10 things to tell when seeking medical advice. 1. Company name and ship's nationality. Without the company name, it is difficult to make contact or ask questions, so please be sure to include this in the request. Next, accurately communicate the patient's information. 2. Patient's occupation. Please indicate whether the patient is a captain, navigator, passenger, or trainee, etc. 3. Name and sex. 4. Date of birth. If possible, please include the patient's age. Knowing ages can be useful. For example, appendicitis is common among young people, while high blood pressure, heart disease, and diabetes are common among middle-aged people. 5. Patient's condition at onset of illness. Include information on the condition when the illness first presented, how the patient was injured, or the overall condition at the time. 6. Current symptoms, medication, injections, treatment details, and questions. The key here is to observe the overall physical condition. Particularly when the patient is unconscious, but even when the patient is conscious, don't focus only on pain and bleeding. Check pulse and other vital signs every 5 or 10 minutes, depending on the situation. If you have provided emergency treatment, it is important to describe that treatment accurately. 7. Pre-existing conditions. If the patient has any chronic illnesses or is taking prescribed medication, be sure to include this information. 8. Type of medical kit, names, and amount of medication you have. The ship's medications and other sanitary items are stipulated in the Mariners Act regulations. If there are any medications not on the list that could be useful, please provide information on the name, whether the drug is in capsule or injection form, number of milligrams per capsule, and the amount available. 9. Next scheduled port of arrival and date. 10. Emergency ports of arrival and date. These two items will be needed to provide instructions regarding maritime emergency response requests, emergency ports of call, disembarking, and treatment at medical facilities. Instructions may change depending on the number of days or hours required to disembark at the next scheduled port of arrival. Requests for radio medical consultation are not limited to major accidents and serious illnesses at sea. For example, there was a case where a crew member complained of pain and swelling in his limbs. Based on the symptoms, the health supervisor thought it could be gout, but was uncertain. He gave dietary guidance, but the patient's concerns were not resolved. This company has a ground team that monitors crew status and provides support to maintain safe ship operations. If someone on the ship becomes sick or injured, the ground team keeps in close contact with the captain or health supervisor, making the necessary arrangements based on a physician's advice. In this case, while receiving support from the ground team, the health supervisor requested medical advice from JACO, Tokyo Takanawa Hospital.
船舶24時間365日運航してますんで、一人でも乗組員が欠けてしまうと、やはりその安全運航に大きな支障をきたす恐れがあります。なので、専門家から常にアドバイスをいただけるというのは、平時から大きな心の支えとなっています。
The doctor receiving the request offers advice based on the 10 things to tell when seeking medical advice and other information provided. In this case, the judgment was that based on symptoms there was a strong suspicion of gout, and detailed advice was provided, including medicines to be administered and follow-up treatments.
まず状況が好転するという強い期待がありました。そして衛生管理者はやはり医学に精通しているわけではないので、助言が得られない場合、即座に対応できるというわけではありません。我々多数の本の中から近い症例だったり、そういうところを調べて対処しないといけないんですけども、そういった時に専門家からきっちりとしたアドバイスをいただけるというのは非常に心強いものがありました。
After that, the crew member's pain gradually subsided, and once he recovered, he was able to return to his regular duties.
まずは本人の症状が改善したというところが一番安心につながります。陸上と同じ医療が受けられない船上では、やはり小さな傷病でも最悪の結果を想定しています。最悪の結果に至らなかったとしても、緊急下船であったり交代となると経済的損失であったり本船の安全運航が脅かされるという事態になります。そういったところがなく、本人が解放していったというのは何よりも安心できます。
In another case, the health supervisor requested radio medical consultations because a non-Japanese crew member on a large fishing vessel complained of abdominal pain. A doctor offered appropriate advice each time.
自分でも欠席じゃないかとは一応考えてはいたんですけど、確信がなかったものですから、直接病院の先生に症状を言ってもらえて、でその対処法も正しく言ってもらえたので、僕の言葉より病院の先生の言葉の方がやっぱ信頼ってあるでしょうから、そういう意味でもやっぱちょっとすぐに教えてもらったと心強いなって感じましたね。
Then it was advised that the patient needs a urinary catheter inserted, so the afflicted crew member was subject to emergency disembarkation. The radio medical consultation has received many requests. Based on those cases, What are the main advantages of radio medical consultation?
医療サービスが制限されている洋上で、医療関係者の方から信頼性の高い助言をいただけるということは、船を安全に運航するための大きな判断材料になっております。特に医薬品の投与とかですね、行うべき、処置などについては、衛生管理者でも判断が難しいところですので、非常に大きな支えになっています。
他で医療に従事されている方たちですかねの直接の助言をいただけるので、僕自身その医療従事者からの助言だからということで自信を持ってこの傷病者に向き合うこともできますし、その傷病者当人にとっても先生からの言葉だからということでやっぱ信じられると思いますし、精神的にもやっぱ前向きな影響みたいなのがあると思いますので。
なかなか私たち素人では判断がつかない、この病気が緊急性がある、この怪我が緊急性があるっていうところの判断が専門の方から受けられるというのは非常に助かります。一安心ですね。
Radio Medical Consultation has served as a lifeline for seamen for more than 60 years. And it will continue to support the health and peace of mind of all seamen.